So in this position here, a lot of concerns coming up as far as what the oil spill means and what its impact. We're concerned with the water column here. There is not a whole lot of monitoring being done within the keys. What we want to do is have an idea of what is being carried from the site to here, and with that we need baseline measurements. And to get baseline measurements, we have to have sampling downstream of this loop current here in the water column. That's not just the surface that everyone thinks about, but every increment in depth as it goes down to the bottom. Now, me being not an expert in oil spills or oil here, but what is generally known, as I understand it, this is what's called light sweet crude, which is different than some of the heavier oils like you would see up in Alaska, or some of the thicker, denser oils, or off of California. And this crude here, as it comes up, it shows as a brown type petroleum. It generally evaporates. The lighter portions of the oil will evaporate, leaving the more denser part of the crude. And that denser crude can start to accumulate, and as it accumulates, it forms essentially tar balls, or what is known as tar balls, or coagulates, and that actually will become heavier than the original light oil, and it'll displace itself within the water column, and that can be carried around. Now, putting things into perspective here, this spill looks massive, but when it comes to overall spills, it doesn't hit the top 20 as it stands right now. And again, depending on how the oil is calculated. And the reason that's significant is you've got to understand that little one oil head is not going to spill enough oil to totally destroy the eastern coast or anything like that. However, some of the concerns that have to be done is as this oil comes up, it can get into the loop current. Where I'm pointing is where the oil well is located. This is the loop current, and the loop current goes up, over, around, and then feeds the keys. Right now, as of today, which is what?
The 21st.
21st of May. I've got this from someone from Louisiana State University. It's now showing the loop current. These are eddies from the loop current, and here's the loop current. And what we have there looks like the first pickup here of the lighter portion of the oil hitting the loop current. What we're talking about is this is going to be starting to come down. And what we should be doing now, which has been proposed by Dr. Rice and others, is start to monitor the water column now to get an idea exactly at what intensity that we're going to have these petroleum things here, because you need to have data in order to come up with a solution. Because if you don't have data, you don't have a viable solution. And that is one of the major problems we have, is if people are not collecting the data, you can't make decisions. We can't make decisions about where it could possibly hit the most impact thing. And to understand the true threat, we don't know the density that it's going to be coming in. And the only way we can do that is to get sampling off of this coast here. So as this is coming down here, we will be starting to get something now. But some of the things that we can be concerned about is, as the coagulates start to get into the mid-water stream and it's carried down here, I'm pointing off into our mangroves here, is the mangroves have prop roots, and part of the waters here have prop roots. And how those islands have formed is that as it enters into the current between here and Fort Jefferson, they hit these small islands, it slows the water column down, and it causes things to deposit. So if there are tar balls and depositing things, this can cause it to slow down, and we'll have accumulations of this stuff, I suspect. We are going to see things that are coming into the stream here that could be hazardous, can be toxic, and could pose problems. So the number one thing that we should be doing now is, one, we are activating people who are hazmat trained, that are being trained here at the college. Two, we need to have a systematic, organized sampling routine to be done off the coast throughout this area of the current on both sides, to measure exactly how much is coming down and what is coming through, and how much is it going to be increasing every day. And as we know right now, it is just now hitting the loop current. So we would have to propose something here soon And we should be taking baseline data now and start to compare it with what we have coming down the way. And then from there, we can make more rational plans as what needs to be done. And particularly, and by knowing what's in the water column, we can know what we can do to mitigate the problem. The dispersants being used and their potential for toxicity, and I am definitely not the person to ask anything about that. But other than the point is, we need to be able to monitor it, and if it has a detectable chemical fingerprint, then we should be checking for that too, and monitoring that. But again, that requires information.